We can.
So during the ceremony, I will take the lead and just sort of walking us through it. And in future, some people will be more familiar, and this recording can be used as a training document. So are we ready to start?
We are, sir.
Okay. I'm going to ask Sanki-san to read the welcome.
Welcome. You are here to witness. You're here to witness Matt Rathbun, Judith McReynolds, Megan Parsley, Jennifer Adams, and Mike Pearson undergo Jukai, receiving the precepts, formally joining the Zen Buddhist Sangha. We will now chant the Heart of Great Perfect Wisdom Sutra.
Wisdom Sutra. When deeply practicing Raja Paramita, clearly saw that all five aggregates are empty and thus relieved all suffering. Shariputra form does not differ from emptiness. Emptiness does not differ from form. Form
Next is the incense offering. Each candidate step forward individually and offer 3 pinches of incense.
You start.
These pinches of incense are for the 3 treasures: the Buddha, the founder, and our self-nature, Dharma, the compassionate teaching, and Sangha, the community of trainees. At the end, Sanki Sensei will put 1 pinch of incense, saying, "This is my seal of approval of these candidates."
This is our seal of approval of these candidates. I will now read a sermon. Welcome. We gathered to celebrate the initiation of Judith McReynolds, Megan Lucille Parsley, Matthew Rathbun, Michael Pearson, and Jennifer Adams onto the path of Zen, the way of enlightenment. We use the metaphors path and journey to describe the Zen life being undertaken. In early Buddhism, the phrase entering the stream was used. It suggests stepping into and being carried onward by the flowing Buddha wisdom. We use the English term initiation, which suggests a transition and the beginning of something new. The Tokudo ceremony is all these things and more. The term Tokudo is sometimes translates as attain the other shore, as we have just chanted in the Great Heart Sutra. Tokudo is a celebration of both beginnings and endings, and more. Of undertaking and attainment. Judith, Megan, Matthew, Michael, and Jennifer are no newcomers to practice. They have been working hard for some time, and their practice is now strong and vital. They are well known to the Sangha and have made contributions to the center by regular attendance and support of our activities. So while we call this an initiation, it is merely an acknowledgement of something well underway. There is a wonderful story from the Lotus Sutra about a young man who grows up with a loving father in a fine home filled with treasure. Yet in his confusion and anger, the boy runs away in search of riches. He travels for many years and undergoes many hardships, never finding his riches until all memory of his home and family are lost to him. Years later, his father spies a ragged beggar in the distance, yet immediately recognizes his lost son. He sends attendants out to welcome his son, yet the boy flees, thinking them sent to beat him. The wise father is troubled, but devises a plan to slowly regain his son's trust. He sends an attendant dressed as a beggar to inform the son that meals are to be had for work at the mansion. Gradually, over much time, the son is given more and more responsibility in his work, until after many years, the lost son rises to oversee the mansion and all of the father's business interests. Only then does the wise father finally reveal his true relationship to his lost son. Only then does the son finally realize his birthright, that the riches he sought so fruitlessly were always in his possession. Our practice is like this. Takudo marks the beginning of a search for something that we already possess. As part of the ceremony, Judith, Megan, Matthew, Michael, and Jennifer will undertake 11 of the 16 Buddhist precepts, the 3 refuges, the 3 pure precepts, and the 5 grave precepts. The precepts are guidelines for living in accord with the Zen life. They help us to actualize and manifest our Zen practice. By undertaking the precepts, Takudo becomes something we do, not just something we did. To bring our life into harmony and accord with the precepts requires attention to each action, each step.
Well, thank you, Sanki. Next is the purification. We asperge the air in temple. Place the water on the temple of each candidate. In preparation for the head shaving. So please chant after me. Mamu Shakyamuni Butsu. I take refuge in Shakyamuni Buddha.
I take refuge in Shakyamuni Buddha.
Mamu Shakyamuni Butsu. I take refuge in Shakyamuni Buddha. Namu Shakyamuni Butsu. I take refuge in Shakyamuni Buddha. Now the symbolic shaving of the head.
Hudson, I shave your head. Hudson.
Daihatsu means I shave your head.
Tahatsu, I shave your head.
Shaving of the head represents leaving behind the past
Hatsu, I shave
and
your head.
entering the past.
Hatsu, I shave your head.
In the old days, we think it was hygienic, probably. But it represents symbolically leaving behind the past, especially your own opinion of your own past. Next, the repentance. You go on, we'll ring the bell, and chant the title acknowledgement of karma, and I will recite each.
Acknowledgement of karma.
All the karmic action ever committed by me since of old.
All the karmic action ever committed by me since of old,
Arising from greed, anger, and delusion.
arising from greed, anger, and delusion,
Born of this body, mouth, and mind.
born of this body, mouth, and mind,
I now acknowledge and accept all consequence with equanimity.
I now acknowledge and accept all consequence with equanimity.
Next, in light of the difficulty of living this kind of life, we take refuge in the 3 treasures. The dawn will chant the title.
Great treasure refuges.
Please repeat after me. I take refuge in Buddha,
I take refuge in Buddha,
the fully awakened one.
the fully awakened one.
I take refuge in Dharma,
I
I
take
take refuge in Dharma,
the compassionate teaching.
the compassionate.
compassionate teaching.
I take refuge in Sangha,
I take refuge in Sangha,
the harmonious community.
The
the
harmony.
harmonious community.
Next is receiving the precepts. Please repeat after me. I have taken refuge in Buddha,
I have taken refuge in Buddha,
Dharma,
Dharma,
and Sangha.
and Sangha.
The Tathagata
Tathagata.
realized true enlightenment
Realized true enlightenment.
and is my great teacher.
And is my great teacher.
I have taken refuge
I have taken refuge
in the Tathagata.
in the Tathagata.
Please look with compassion
Please look
upon my humble relatives.
humble vows.
Now the three pure precepts. Please respond, Sensei, if you agree, after I ask the question. First pure precept, not creating evil. Do no harm.
Yes, Sensei.
Will you observe this precept until you realize
Yes,
Yes,
Sensei.
Sensei.
don't want to be too eager? The second pure precept, practicing good. Do only good. Will you observe this precept until you realize Buddhahood?
Yes,
Yes,
Sensei.
Sensei.
Third pure precept, purifying intentions. Do good for others. So, will you observe this precept until you realize Buddhahood?
Yes, Sensei.
You must not break these three pure precepts. Please observe these precepts as you have promised. Celebrant and initiates, please bow to each other. Next, the 5 grave precepts. You have received the 3 pure precepts. Now, the 5 grave precepts. These are precepts of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. Affirm life, do not kill. Will you observe this precept until you realize Buddhahood?
Yes,
Yes,
Sensei.
Sensei.
Be giving, do not take what is not freely given. Will you observe this precept until you realize Buddhahood?
Yes,
Yes,
Sensei.
Sensei.
Honor the body, do not engage in sexual misconduct. Will you observe this precept until you realize Buddhahood?
Yes, Sensei.
And manifest truth, do not speak false. Will you observe this precept until you realize Buddhahood?
Yes, Sensei.
Proceed clearly, do not cloud the mind with intoxicants. Will you observe this precept until you realize Buddhahood?
Yes, Sensei.
You must not break these 5 precepts. Grave precepts. Please observe these precepts as you have promised. Initiate, celebrant, please bow to each other. So when sentient beings receive the precepts, they enter the realm of the Buddhas, which is none other than the great enlightenment. Truly, they are the children of Buddha. Now, it said that Buddha came to see all beings as his children, but this was not in a condescending manner. Now, the presentation of vestments. The celebrant incenses each vestment. When he places the wakesa, you bow slightly, hands in gasho, pull your hands out from under the wakesa, put them back together in gasho. This is your way of receiving the wakesa. During this time, the Doan will read about the wakesa, and then the placement of the beads after the wakesa.
Judith, will you please come forward?
The wakesa is symbolic of robes worn by Buddha and his followers. Traditionally, monks wove their own robes from discarded scraps as part of renunciation of the world of delusion. The metaphor of taking on new clothing is powerful and evocative. Wear your wakesa when you sit as a reminder of this tradition and your undertaking today. These are Buddha's robes. Treat them with great respect.
The beads,
Jusu beads are
Yeah.
Buddhist rosary. The 27 beads on the wrist rosary represent a traditional list of 108 delusions, which are considered hindrances on the path. The beads always come in multiples of 9. Think of each bead as representing 4 delusions. The tassel represents the roots of the lotus of wisdom. You may turn each bead as a concentration aid, much like counting the breath. What are the 108 delusions? Create your own list.
Megan.
so Saki, let me walk you through the placement of the beads.
All right.
The beads should be removed from the karta. There's a rubber band, you have to remove the rubber band.
Wow.
I thought we had gone over this, my bad. But you can leave the karta on the altar. Place the beads over the hands in gasho.
Wow.
They will nest in the thumb circuit. And Megan, you pull one hand out and put it back. That's the way you accept the beads. Yes, so now. So let's please go back to the other two left and replace their beads for them. partner for the baby to take home to keep them. Don't blame Santi, I'm sure we went over this. So the way we accept the the way we accept the beads is similar. We start with our hands in kasho, and we pull them apart, put them back together, and bow. Good. You can set the card aside.
Michael, will you come forward?
The young lady in the middle will replace her beads too. Oh, already. Yeah.
Forget her.
Okay, good. There's a little time lag here. And I think there's a little time lag in my brain. Good.
Mm-hmm. Look at this. There you have it. Jen, will you come forward?
What Mesa is appropriate to wear when you're sitting in meditation, when you're cleaning or doing something that may endanger it in any way. They're usually removed, or you can turn them around so they hang down the back to protect them from becoming soiled. When Matsuo Kuroshi first did my ordination, he said, treat this as you would your own eyes. So now, another incense offering. Each candidate, each initiate steps forward. Ingasho bows before the altar, offering 1 pinch of incense and 1 bow. The celebrant offers Sanki Sensei, offers 1 pinch, and says, this is my seal of approval of this initiate. And then incenses the certificate, opens it and reads the name, explaining the meaning of the name. And then presents the certificate to the initiate.
Do that again.
So each one individually steps forward. 1 pinch of incense. You may have to push down on the incense a little bit the smoke.
Megan, Lucille, Parsley. Her Dharma name
Please step forward.
is
One pitch of
Yusa.
incense. The incense is used as incense the certificate. And then read to you, Sanki Sensei will read to you. Name we've chosen.
Megan, Lucille, Parsley, who shall hereafter be known by the Dharma name of Yusa, which in English translates as brave heart.
So each name has a kind of aspirational side for you to aspire to. So we typically say something like, please live up to your name.
Judith McReynolds. Please come forward and offer some incense. Judith McReynolds, who shall hereafter be known by the Dharma name Daijin. Daijin, which in English translates as great compassion.
The certificate contains a record of the ceremony for you to review from time to time.
Matt Rathbun, please come forward and offer some incense. He certifies that Matthew Rathbun, who shall hereafter be known by the Dharma name of Kanshin, which in English translates as generous spirit, has undergone initiation as a formal Soto Zen Buddhist, December 5th, 2020.
Should your life proceed in such a manner
Michael Pearson.
that you eventually become a disciple, you're given a second name
This is
at one point. The two names together make up your full Dharma name.
Michael Pearson, who shall hereafter be known by the Dharma name of Kinshin, joyful mind.
So the name is selected to reflect the aspirational side, but somewhat of a descriptive side
Jennifer?
of your personality, as seen by your teacher. So is that all five?
It will be soon.
Oh, sorry.
It's going.
I can't tell from here.
Jennifer Adams, who shall from hereafter be known by the Dharma name of Kaida, which in English translates as joyful way.
So you may notice on your certificate that the male names have a suffix or prefix. Male names have a prefix. Male names have a prefix so, which means male or monk. And the female names have a suffix ni, which means none, female. They're not part of your name, actually. They're a lot more like Mr. or Miss. So at this point, Sangha again puts a seal of approval on the initiate by offering incense. He and I are co-celebrants. I will declare that these 5 initiates have formally become Zen Buddhists on this day, December 5th, 2020. Very auspicious date. The concluding statement will be made by Sangha Sensei about putting on a new life.
Purified, which means non-dual, not separate. And shaven, atoned, at one with, past karma and action, with the 3 treasures as refuge, and the 3 pure and 5 great precepts as guide, and with new clothes, vestments, to remind you of this day, please begin, continue, and complete your new life in the Dharma. I charge the Sangha to welcome and cherish Gaijin, great compassion, Yusei, brave heart, Kanshin, generous spirit, Kinshin, joyful mind, Kaido, joyful way.
Please bow to each other. The ceremony is now over. Congratulations are in order. Typically, there's a recession here, but in light of the present circumstances, we'll forego that. But this is a good time to take some photographs and provide those so that we can announce them to the Mahasangha, the Sangha at large. I'm going to say goodbye. Congratulations from here. I'm saying goodbye and congratulations from here. My internet connection is unstable. Or maybe it's just me. Congratulations.
Goodbye, Sensei. Raphael, why don't you take some pictures of us? We can probably allow the rest of the folks to go. And let's just take some pictures so we can do something with them. But how do you turn that off?
Goodbye. Training video.